Hello and good morning. My name is Jenna Childers, and I am here and excited to give you some tips and tricks of presenting yourself professionally in a virtual setting. Whether it's in meetings and classes or interviews, I'm hoping that I can provide a couple tools for you that can really help set the stage for success in a virtual setting. Before we begin, there's a couple of takeaways that I'd like you to think about as we move through this quick and short, about 10-minute training. I want you to feel more confident in your setting, which we'll get to shortly. I'll give you some tips and tricks, how you can convey yourself in a professional manner virtually, as well as being more comfortable engaging on an online platform, whether it's Zoom or Teams or Facebook or Skype or whatever it may be. So those are some things I want you to take away today so that you feel a little bit more confident in this setting. We're obviously all still learning. There's a lot to take in when it comes to the virtual world, but we're all trying to get A's in our classes, land careers, and make some connections going into this new year. So a couple of things I want you to think about. Setting the stage, right? Class, interview, obviously two very different settings. So when you're thinking about it, can they see you, right? Is the lighting okay? As you can see here, I've got some nice lighting. I spent about $20 on a ring light. As you can see, as an example, I can turn it on and off. Look how different it creates my lighting, right? Obviously, I want my face, my smile, my teeth to show, especially when I'm talking. So that is very, very important, as well as eye contact, right? In a class or an interview, obviously two very different settings, but making direct eye contact is really important. When you look away, like I'm gonna grab my phone. If you look away and do something on your phone, they don't see you on your phone, but they see you not engaged anymore. So it's really important for you to really focus on that. Okay. I put a smiley face right by my camera. And this is for you guys so you understand how important it is. So I remember that I'm talking to you through my camera. I'm not looking down at the faces on my screen because then the eye contact is now lost. I'm looking in the camera at the smiley face to make sure that I'm making contact with you personally versus with all the candidates or all the different attendees on a Zoom call, right? Camera and microphone, very important, right? You want to make sure that you can see a nice setting in the background. I can't tell you as a recruiter how many unmade beds I have seen, how many piles of laundry I have seen. There's been so many that it honestly is very distracting for a recruiter. So I would highly recommend making sure that your setting is clean, organized, tidy, and showcases who you are as a person, right? I have my sign here. I'm a Chico State alum. I've got a nice family, which I'm very proud of, which is honestly a talking point. I love my indoor plants. But as you can see, I'm in my desk and I've got a nice couch in the background, but you wouldn't know that this is actually my kids' playroom as well. I'm gonna show you because we're all gonna learn here, right? But you would have no idea, but I am presenting myself professionally on this call, right? Your microphone, are you using something that is portraying your sound and your voice and your tone well? Are you making the eye contact while you're talking with them? Making sure that you're really conveying the message like you would in person, which I know we all can present with impact and do that, in class and in front of people or sitting at a coffee shop in an interview. But virtually it's a little bit more challenging. Moving into body language and attire. I love using my hands, right? So I have to find a way to kind of ring myself in to make sure I'm not all over the Zoom call, right? Or doing something over here, doing this all the time, because it's very distracting for a recruiter, for a professor, because we are trying to set the stage, provide the right body language and attire for the people that we are speaking with, right? The chair you're sitting in, are you poised with power? Are your feet on the ground? Is your shoulders back and your chin held high? Or are you slumped and really lazy? Like this could be like just like an in-class setting, you know, you're learning, you're zoomed out because you've been here for 20 minutes or 2 hours. Or are you in an interview? And as you can see, my stance is different. Watch. My feet are planted, shoulder width apart, my shoulders are down, my chin is held high, chest is proud, and I feel powerful. I'm conveying a different message than this, right? Something to think about. If you're in your car, you can't really control the setting around you. There's other cars, there's fire sirens, there's motorcycles, there's passerbyers. There's things that you can't control when you're in your vehicle. So my biggest recommendation for you is to not interview in an uncontrolled environment. Or if you're going to be portraying a presentation or you're trying to provide some impact with your messaging, whether it's personal or professional, try to find a safe and quiet space for your message. I want you to really think about that power stance. What makes you feel powerful in a virtual setting? Is it a leg cross with your hands over your knees so that you can still feel like you're in an interview, but you're not? Is it your feet shoulder width apart? What is it that makes you feel confident, strong, powerful, graceful, all at the same time while presenting in this virtual setting? As we know, it is very different when you're sitting in a class for 4 hours later and you've been on Zoom all day. Understand that. But if you have to present, if you're in an interview, if there's something that you're really trying to convey, make sure that your setting, both the stage, your body language, your attire is all. So something I also want you to think about is your attire. Are you set up for success when it comes to not just from the waist up? We all know that sometimes you have to get up, right? To close a door, to grab a phone, to get some water. And if you're in your pajamas with a collared shirt, it shows that you didn't really come ready to attack the conversation, right? So I want you to know moving forward, when you do have to convey that message or you are presenting with impact, to please dress professionally, because if you do have to get up, it does show that you aren't really there. You're not 100% in it to win it, right? Your voice, your tone, your eye contact, all there. Right? When we're in person, it's kind of nice to just have a generic conversation. We're using our hands. We're really, kind of open about who we are, right? But in this virtual setting, you do want to make sure that you're not yelling, you're not whispering. You're also making eye contact and really connecting with the camera, which seems really strange. But as you can see, when I'm talking to you like this, it feels like I'm physically talking to you. But if I'm looking at myself in the screen, as you can tell, it kind of changes the direct impact that I'm making in our conversation. So making sure that your voice and your tone and your eye contact all really come together and portray a really nice message. So how can you engage and be interactive, right? If you're in a class with 40 people, how do you set yourself apart if an employer comes in to talk about their organization and what they hire for? First things first, have your camera on. It is so nice to see human faces. I do numerous, I'd say about 10 to 15 presentations per week for college campuses across the nation. And I can tell you that the students that have their camera on are the students that I write down their name. And if they end up following up with me, they're on my docket. They're on my recruiting bench. I'm gonna talk to them because they took that extra effort to get ready. They took the extra effort to set the stage. They took the extra effort to engage with me. Put comments in a comment box if they ask for it or allow it. That makes things more exciting and more interesting. As an employer, you really want to engage with these students and make sure that you're giving them all the content that they need, whether you're talking about presenting in a virtual setting or talking about Jackson Family, whatever it may be, a career, mock interviews, whatever it may be, just making sure that you're actually engaging with them and following up. Always ask for an email, follow up with them if you really like their organization or if you want some more advice and tips and tricks. While you're in school, this is all networking, right? You're building a foundation for your career. Whether or not you go to work for that employer, you're going to peel away some really important pieces to your puzzle that will really create a career for you in whatever direction you decide to go. Raise your hand, ask questions. You will stand out. I can tell you by name the people who have raised their hand, asked questions at the end of a class that I'm like, oh, I hope they follow up with me, because that was powerful. They were engaged, they paid attention, and they were present, which is the most important piece of this online platform. Being present, being 100% in it to win it, like I said earlier. And finally, a few things that I just want to wrap up this tips and tricks for virtual setting is to ask for an email. How do they want to follow up with you? If this is an interview, follow up if you want the job, ask for the job, ask how they recruit and how they hire. If it's an employer or a professor that you need to network with more, reach out, ask for help, ask for those next steps. So obviously every setting is very different. And as I come to a close in this short and sweet training, I want you to take away those few things that I think will really make an impact when you come to present professionally in this virtual setting. So making sure that you're setting the stage for the class, the interview, the presentation, whatever it may be, making sure that your body language and attire match that specific setting, right? Engage, be interactive. I know it probably feels weird, but once you get comfortable being uncomfortable, you're making progress. So best of luck to you. And if I can answer any more questions, feel free to email me at careers@jswmail.com. Again, my name is Jenna Childers. Thanks so much.